When I was a little girl, I didn't think there was anything that I liked better than ice cream. Now I'm a big girl, and I've decided there's something I like better. Much better. It's called the stuff. And believe me, enough is never enough.
Welcome to No Sequel for You, a film podcast that looks at the cult cinema and horror and action and celebrates death and gore and everything in between. This is episode 13. My name is Dave.
And my name is Andy.
And on tonight's show, we're going to be examining the stuff and deciphering whether or not me and Andy can get enough of said stuff. We're also going to be looking at modern French classic Inside from the French extreme cinema wave.
Extreme.
Of course, we are contractually obliged to say extreme in that manner every single time.
I think Dimension Films will sue otherwise. Yeah. Dimension Extreme.
And I'll tell you what, Andy, I was watching Evil Speak the other day. And, as you would. And starring one Clint Howard. And it got me thinking.
Isn't he a weird looking fucker? That's what you were thinking.
I always get him mixed up with, is it Wallace Shawn, who's in The Princess Bride, amongst, Mr. Inconceivable, that guy.
Yeah.
So Clint Howard, you may or may not know, is the brother of Ron Howard, the hugely successful film director.
Look how weird he is.
Get that out of my face. So Ron Howard, hugely successful, respected film director, kind of like a seal of quality on many films, maybe. Star of classic sitcom Happy Days, classic movies like American Graffiti, and that other one he was in.
Narrator on Arrested Development as well, by the way.
And and Clint Howard is Clint Howard. Yeah, he's in stuff.
He was on Gentle Ben as a kid. Do you remember Gentle Ben?
Very vaguely.
It was one about
I don't remember
the
anything
friendly
about
grizzly bear in the swamps of Mississippi.
No, you see, I grew up in an era where the biggest show on telly
was probably like The Littlest Hobo with a bear.
Oh right, okay. Oh, sort of. I do remember a TV. I do remember a TV show called Woof, which was about a kid who turned into a dog, and he was okay with it.
Yeah, that was different.
Yeah, massively different. And that and Johnny Briggs.
Johnny Briggs, I remember.
Yeah, with its brass interludes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
every single time. So what it got me thinking, Andy, is for a talking point, brothers and sisters, siblings.
They all? Oh, right. Sorry.
And so specifically acting dynasties, if you will. Please try and find the ones that have got the biggest disparity of all. It's always been my dream to make an Expendables of less successful siblings. We're talking the Matt Dillons of the world, the Frank Stallones. Not Matt Dillon, Kevin Dillon. So, go.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm trying to find the disparity ones, but I'm just in my head at the moment. The first one I just come up with is the Belushi ones, which is weird because I don't know why I was starting to think of them, and I'm starting to think of death now because I'm thinking of the Penn brothers as well because obviously Chris Penn died.
Yeah.
And isn't it weird how isn't it weird originally how the same family seems to get into acting and things like that?
Yeah.
I think it's a very odd. I don't know. After one gets into acting, it's, the other one follows. I suppose it's like footballers, isn't it? Like one goes into football, and the other one is the lame footballer, but also goes in as well.
Looking at you, Rooney.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Rooney's and Gerrards.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the same in acting as well. Maybe you get the good one goes into acting, and the other one follows, but isn't quite good.
Yeah, I mean, I think with certain families, like for example, the Gyllenhaals or the Gyllenhaals.
I'm going with Gyllenhaal,
depending on which sibling you're talking about. They kind of like weren't quite born into it, but I think one of their parents was either a playwright or something of that ilk. So they would get pushed into it, and maybe like with the funders, they come from a whole acting dynasty, and the Barrymores as well. That's a whole
Michael
thing.
Barrymore,
Yeah, Michael Barrymore. Ooh, controversial.
Ooh, get a whisk from the kitchen.
Yeah, so I guess some people they're just born into it, aren't they? But the other actors like the Fannings, for example.
Oh yeah.
There's
a couple of Fannings knocking around, aren't there? What?
Behave yourself.
No, honestly, I wasn't even doing it like that. Filthy mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's time to get my mind out of the gutter. But yeah, so for example, the Afflecks, for example, I don't know what their history is, but I know like with Clooney, he was kind of born into it. One of his cousin is Miguel. Well, was
you're talking about
Ferrer,
disparity between brothers, isn't there? Tom Hanks and his brother Colin Hanks, isn't
it? His son.
Is his son? Yeah, he's not as good.
Yeah, Colin Hanks is kind of. He's certainly not as big as his dad, is he? But
didn't he do something quite good recently? He did a lot of shit for a long time.
Yeah,
maybe.
I know. Yeah, he was in some. He kind of started out on the Tom Hanks path, doing like comedies.
He did Orange County, didn't he?
Yeah, which is okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
But
they didn't do anything for a long time.
No, he popped up in an episode of Mad Men.
Oh, really?
As a vicar, I'm sure.
I think he's done something quite good recently. I can't think of it though.
Yeah.
I think he's like
definitely sure he was in the Fargo TV series.
Yeah. He's always his son, right?
Yeah,
makes sense.
But yeah, so I mean, Don and Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Frank and Sylvester Stallone. That's what I'm talking about. Donnie and Mark Wahlberg. I mean, Donnie Wahlberg may be famous in his own right. Was in New Kids on the Block and has carved out a very respectable career on TV, whereas Marky Mark Wahlberg.
I like that you call him Marky Mark.
is perhaps the bigger one. Depending on when you grew up, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
What about
he is, isn't he?
Yeah. What about Carradines as well? That's is it David?
How many of the who's the guy who? How many brothers? Who's the one who went out with Kim Basinger for ages?
Baldwin.
Yeah. How many Baldwins are there? There's about 7 or 8. It seems like there's about 7 or 8.
Alec, William.
There's Billy Baldwin.
Daniel.
I've just made that up.
No, William Baldwin.
Oh, there you go.
Billy Baldwin.
I just like calling him Billy Baldwin.
I think there's 4 actual brothers, Daniel and Stephen.
I bet some of them are shit.
And then there's a distant one.
Oh, there's one. There's the outcast. Who was never
the cousin.
Who was never an actor, so he got shunned from the family.
Yeah, but they are literally like a wall chart of success, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Alec at the top,
Alec
and
is
then
definitely
perhaps,
the number one.
Daniel at the bottom, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Who was the one who was in Stephen? Who was in the Usual Suspects?
Yeah, it was Stephen Baldwin,
and also in Big Brother.
As well.
In Big Brother, being a massive racist.
No, I thought that was Alec Baldwin. Oh, I don't know. See, that's the problem when you all look that similar. I guess if one does a bad thing, you can't remember which one it was.
Stephen's the one who's mental, isn't he?
Was he the one in Usual Suspects? Yeah, I think he is the one who's mental.
He's the one who's got issues.
Yeah,
Billy Baldwin's like the shit version of Alec Baldwin. Isn't he?
Basically, yeah.
And but it's weird, isn't it? I mean, away from acting, like in running and sport, is the Brownlee brothers over here. God, that fucking place must be the most awkward place on the planet on Christmas Day. You've got Alistair, who's like one of the most successful athletes this country's ever produced, and then you've got Johnny, who probably would be if it wasn't for his older brother.
There's,
It's like, how does that conversation
There's
work?
also Andy Murray and his brother, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like has the
fucking
plate
hell,
on one
yeah,
end.
God.
Where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
hero, here he comes. Oh, here's the other one.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
he is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did all right in the doubles, Jamie. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did all right. You did all right. Don't worry about it. Well done, Andy, Wimbledon champion.
Yeah.
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 Awkward.
Yeah, God, tell me about it. I mean, there's I mean, is it Fred Claus? Where there's a whole scene.
Isn't that a terrible film with Michael Madsen? Oh no, not Michael Madsen. Fred Claus.
Michael Madsen and Virginia Madsen.
Yeah.
I've just learned.
Oh right, yeah. I've never heard of
Quick
her.
internet research tells me
That
that
wasn't
they are
Fred Claus.
related.
A terrible comedy film. It wasn't Michael Madsen. I know who it is. The guy from.
It's
you're
Vincent
better.
Vaughn.
Yeah, Vincent Vaughn. Yeah.
Yeah, and also they there's a scene in that film that deals with like siblings of famous people. Roger Clinton's in that, you know,
What,
brother
Fred
of
Claus?
Bill. Yeah, there's a few. Like I think Frank Stallone might have been in there, and you know, I think Frank's. I keep coming back to Frank. I'm not sure he's as unsuccessful as I'm making him out.
I don't think I've ever heard of him.
He is quite a reasonably successful musician in.
Do you reckon he tours
Yeah.
with Steven Seagal?
God, I hope so.
I fucking
That'd
hope
be great,
so.
wouldn't it? I dream of like this Expendables of like
Yeah.
brothers, brothers and
Shit
sisters
brothers.
of like, you know, successful people, like you know, like held together by Eric Roberts, who's probably the king of the less successful. Mind you, in my heart, Eric Roberts will always be the man. You know, he's in one of my favourite films, The Ambulance. So, and Best the Best, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
and you know, there's a whole podcast dedicated to Eric Roberts, and it's called "Eric Roberts is the fucking man."
Really?
So, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, well worth a listen because you know, he's been in some good films. He's been in a lot of terrible films. Let's not get away from it. But he's been in some good flicks over the time. There's I was going to say someone else then. I can't remember. I'm fairly certain that they made a sequel to The Lost Boys.
Yeah, well, they
starring
did.
Kiefer Sutherland's absolutely unknown brother.
Oh, I didn't
Fucking
realise Keith Sutherland's brother was in
Dave
it.
Sutherland or whatever.
Bloody Dave Sutherland.
Sutherland's pate. You know.
I bet Thingy was still in it though.
Which Corey?
Yeah.
Feldman or Haim?
No, I'm thinking of Feldman. Yeah.
Haim's not with us anymore, is he?
No. Haim has passed. But Feldman's up for anything.
Was that a great?
Actually, I think Corey Feldman might be dead now. Is he dead?
No, he's still with.
Are you sure?
Was Haim like a great 2016 cull?
I'll check on
Or was
Corey Feldman.
he,
Just going to check on Corey Feldman's health.
Yeah.
Just to see how he's getting on. he might have passed in the night and we don't
Hey,
know about
Culkin
it.
brothers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I mean,
But neither of them are doing that much nowadays. So I guess
there's a few. There's three that I can think of. Culkin brothers. There's Macaulay, Rory, and Kieran.
Oh, I didn't know there was a Kieran.
And I think that Rory grew up to
I
be
knew
a
there
more
was a
credible actor. He's the one who's kind of in stuff as an adult, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And Macaulay's, I don't know, just sort of being.
Yeah, but he seems like a bit of a loose cannon, Macaulay Culkin
I think
nowadays.
he was. Now he's okay.
Oh well, we'll
One of
see.
them. It's one of those.
Yeah,
One of them, one of
Feldman's
those.
still all right, by the way. Everyone, he's just making terrible like TV shows, reality TV shows, basically.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
As he should be.
I mean, that's what we all like to hear, that he's doing terrible in his career.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who else? Really successful. Who's really successful and who's really rubbish?
I don't know, mate. We put ourselves on the spot.
Well, I know
researching
who's
this.
probably on equal pegging, so
Right.
we can go with the Afflecks.
Yeah,
Ben probably gets some more of the blockbusters.
I'd say,
but,
I'd
you know,
say so. Yeah.
Affleck's Casey's the one with the acting Oscar, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I didn't know until about 5 minutes ago that Warren Beatty and Shirley MacLaine were
No, I didn't either.
were brother and sister.
They're both pretty old nowadays.
Yeah.
I'd say Warren Beatty's getting on a bit.
I feel like Beatty took a lot of flack during that Oscar thing. Remember?
Yeah.
when he got.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he seemed to.
Yeah, he was the scapegoat.
He
for
seemed
that
to
whole...
get. He's the one who seemed to get fingered.
Yeah, it was only because he was opening
Oscar
the
thing.
envelope. Really, it wasn't. You know.
I'm not trying to be funny.
Is that what he said? I never saw the clip.
It's great because if I was him, I'd just fuck you, I'm Warren Beatty. I'll do whatever I like. I opened
this envelope, and
that's
what it fucking said. So fuck you. They gave me the wrong fucking envelope, didn't they? Yeah, and he tried to take it with grace, and then just got battered for it.
Well, he seemed to get a lot of flack. You know, the guy from La La Land just fucking snatched that envelope. Give me the envelope.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I do remember seeing it coming. Yeah, give me that. That's not right.
Yeah.
Give me that goddamn envelope.
Yeah, it's like, give me the envelope, old white guy.
Yeah,
you know, just like pretty much how it went down. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Fucking
Or Warren Beatty.
I don't know.
Never recovered from that Dick Tasty he did.
No, he didn't. Warren Beatty's been in like two of like the fucking biggest bombs ever, hasn't he? Is it Ishtar?
Yeah, Ishtar is the biggest bomb ever.
Town and Country.
Oh,
which is proportionally one of the most expensive films ever made, despite it being not really being about anything. It's just because the amount of actors that are in it must have all the budget,
the wages cost loads.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I quite like Dick Tracy.
Yeah, his
film's all right.
I don't remember an awful lot about. I remember the guy out of The Rocketeers in it. I'm sure.
Rocketeer, what a great film.
Who's massive, but he's called Tiny something.
Yeah.
Rocketeer. By the way, Rocketeer's on this list, but it's fucking way down the list. So expect that.
I mean, I've watched it. Yeah, I know that film.
Expect that in 2020 or something like that. You know, if we're still here. If fucking Donald Trump ain't blown as the kingdom come.
Ooh, political.
We
were saying that. Oh yeah, fucking hell.
You know, actually, he won't even be here by 2020.
Someone will have killed him.
He is gonna be gone, ghost Swayze by the end of this year. That's my bold prediction.
Yo, someone will assassinate him.
Oh no, he'll be impeached. He'll be fucking in prison.
Nah, I'm not having that.
It's gone.
I think someone will assassinate him in the next 2 years.
No.
He's ripe for an assassination by Sean Connery.
Run along, babe. This is man talk.
He's ripe for an assassination. That guy. He's fucking primed for it.
He's ripe for a bowl of impeachment ice cream.
All right. Well, we'll see. Whether he prisons or dies.
So you're saying dead? I'm saying prison.
Yeah, prison or death. That's our game.
So
it's a bold game.
So back. I don't know. Whoever's.
Whereas Theresa May, it's election or hang on. That's the game for her.
Join us on June 29th for Theresa May leaving drinks.
We're such a mess. Let's get away from politics. Let's talk about film reviews.
Yeah, let's
do that.
Let's talk about film reviews.
Let's talk about films, baby.
Andy.
David. So yeah, okay, you're in with your film.
Oh man, well, let's talk about where do we begin? Let's begin with the trailer for 1985's The Stuff.
Warning. We interrupt this presentation with the following urgent message regarding The Stuff. If you see it in stores, call the police. If you have it in your home, don't touch it. Get out. The Stuff is a product of nature, a deadly living organism. It is addictive and destructive. It can overcome your mind and take over your body. And nothing can stop it.
Are you prepared to say on the air that you've actually seen people devoured by the stuff?
Tonight, America is in grave danger.
It's gonna kill you! It's gonna kill you all!
The Stuff. You have been warned.
can't get enough of the stuff.
That fucking tune.
The Stuff, as I previously mentioned, is a 1985 film directed by one Larry Cohen. It stars Michael Moriarty and Andrea Marcovici,
Nice.
Garrett Morris, Scott Bloom, and Paul Savino, amongst others. It's a bit of a horror, and it's about The Stuff, which is the new dessert taking supermarket shelves by storm. It's delicious, low in calories, and better still, doesn't stay in the family carpet. What's not to like? Well, for a start, it has a life of its own, and we're not talking friendly bacteria. Young Jason seems to be the only one who doesn't love The Stuff. In fact, he won't go anywhere near it. After having seen the pudding crawl around the fridge one night, that's the opening scene, by the way. What's more, everyone who eats The Stuff is starting to act really weird. Now, teaming up with wisecracking industrial saboteur Mo, Jason must put a stop to The Stuff and the organisation behind it, or face a gooey, gloopy demise.
Can't get enough of the stuff.
Andy, I can't
What?
get enough of the Stuff.
I
What's
could
your-
not get enough of the stuff.
What? Have you seen this film before?
No, I haven't. No, this was the first time viewing,
Okay, great.
which is lovely.
Right.
Which is lovely.
Can you give me your initial impressions of The Stuff? I feel like there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Hey!
Like I said in my last episode, that some of your recent films you brought up, you're doing better for me.
Raising my game.
There's some good ones, but yeah, this was cool. And it's a film I've never really looked at before. I don't know why. I think it's from that era where I wasn't really asked about films, and I don't go back a lot with my film watching. I'm quite sort of progressive with my film watching, I guess. So this was just a film that bypassed me completely. And so when I clicked on it, and the thing is, it hooked me instantly. Actually, sometimes when I click on a film and you sort of see I guess like if we go back to like Castle Freak or something like that, and you click on it, you just think, fuck. When it starts, you think, oh, it doesn't look great. This has got all the hallmarks of it being a bit rubbish. Whereas like this, I clicked on it, and like you just said about the opening scene, where it's, you know, if you bypass the terrible opening a little bit, if you've the opening scene of the stuff going around the fridge and all that, so this looks fucking great, and it's really vibrant and colourful, like we were saying about Reanimator, in fact. And so straight away I was like, oh yeah, I'm into this. This looks fucking cool. I'm pretty down with this. So yeah, I was on board straight away. And the more it progressed, the more I enjoyed it. It was. I thought there was always going to be a point in time in this film where I was just going to go, no, I'm done with it. But actually, it never was. I got through it all, and I thought it was really cool. I loved the effects. Really, not all of them, but the effects of the stuff when it's like coming in through doors and coming out of pillows and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool, really cool. And I thought the characters were great. Some of the characters were great, let's say. And I really enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed this film. Thought it was really, really cool film. Yeah,
Cool.
So what's your history with it? You obviously you watched it a long time ago.
Yeah. I've seen this film. Maybe not as early in life as I perhaps think. Maybe sort of late teens. I'm a great lover of Larry Cohen's work. I've said before that one of my great loves is a film called The Ambulance.
Yeah, we'll do it eventually. Dave.
Obviously, I love Maniac Cop.
Yeah.
Larry Cohen seems to exist in a bit of a space by himself where he just writes a lot of schlocky sort of films. And you know, it's funny, there are a lot of films where you think, God, I can't believe that was a Larry Cohen film. Like, there was one, I think it never seems to get talked about now, but I seem to recall it being a big deal in the 80s. Wicked Stepmother.
Okay.
I can't remember who's in there, but that was quite a big film at the time. Also, he writes a lot of, so the film Phone Booth, or as it's known over here, Telephone Box, and
like it.
With Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
That's written by Larry Cohen, directed by Joel Schumacher. He also wrote a film called Cellular, which stars
Loves
Kim
that.
Kim Basinger.
He loves that phone business, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he does. Yeah,
Loves all the stuff with phones in.
and current Captain America, Chris Evans, not that one. Yeah. So he's very much a high concept, horror driven. One of his earlier films, Q, the Winged Serpent. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I know it's down on your list, mate.
But yeah, Michael Moriarty's in that as well, playing Mo Rutherford, who's an actor I like, especially in this film.
When he first came on, I was sort of unsure of him.
Yeah,
quite a lot. I was like, man, this guy, I don't know if I'm going to be annoyed by him or not.
Yeah,
but the more the film got on, I was like, yeah, I'm all right with him.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, and I think just about all of the cast are wonderful in this film, playing it completely as seriously as a title like The Stuff would demand you to. Paul Sorvino, who shows up like maybe in the last quarter of the film.
Is he the general?
Yeah. He father of Oscar-winning Mira Sorvino.
Oh, there you go. More relationships in Hollywood.
Yeah. So and he's been in a lot of films like Goodfellas. He's in that.
Yeah, I found his character to be pretty good.
Yeah, he's
when he came along to that bit and they pulled up in the army, and I was like, oh man, I could do without the army getting involved and all that. I thought I liked where it was going without that, and I thought sweet. But then I was like, oh, I could do without this. But then once you started talking, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this character actually.
Yeah,
I think one of the lines he said where he's like, I've always been the biggest, the strongest, and the best looking guy around. I was like, oh, that was a cool line.
Yeah. And when he starts moving, he goes, "Hey there, you're moving in on my girl there," and it's like, "Oh, I won't worry about it. You're probably not going to make it back from this."
Yeah,
but,
I do like his character. I didn't want to, because I kind of thought I didn't like it, but yeah, I did like him. It was great.
Yeah. So the film opens nice, sort of cold opening on a classic horror sci-fi, B movie trope of the old worker just discovering what it is.
Yeah, why would you pick it up and eat it?
Would it be my first instinct?
No, it wouldn't be my first instinct. Look, there's some white shit coming out of the ground.
White bubbling shit in the ground. Better eat it.
Oh, I'll eat it. Oh, it's delicious. Anyone else wants some?
Because there's never any reference to how it smells. It's always about how it tastes. I would say it's so bloody delicious. And it's like
smells of nothing.
So he kind of picks it up, sniffs it, and it's like, oh, better eat it.
Yeah, no, it's like just finding anything on the floor, sniff it. Better have a go at that.
Yeah, there's no good reason.
It isn't shit. I'll have a go at that.
So yeah, there's that, and then we cut into like, I enjoy the way that it's just 1 minute we find it, the next minute it's massive.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact there was no. I think I would have got bored if it had been a lot of. What happens? The gradual tension of it taking over. I like the fact it was already done.
Yeah. Love the adverts for the stuff.
Yeah, they're great.
They're so well done.
Yeah, they are. They're really well done.
The whole marketing campaign behind the stuff is great. I love the jingles. I love the actual logo for the stuff.
I like that there's street sellers selling the stuff.
Yeah,
and I like that there's like a place next to McDonald's which is like a stuff hut,
and
all that.
Which when it gets blown up later is hilarious.
We're in Andre's exclusive continental restaurant, which caters to only the most discriminating clientele.
How's the food, sweetheart? That's nice.
Where's the stuff?
The stuff is here now. Great new day sensation. Light and free now. Gives you elevation. Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough of the stuff.
The stuff, the taste that makes you hungry for more. The stuff, taste that delivers.
Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough of the stuff.
One of my favourite lines I had to jot down was when they're on the boat and they're waiting for Mo Rutherford, and he says, "Well, I guess we have to keep the world safe for ice cream." It's just like, and then Mo Rutherford turns up, and he's just like, it's a bit of a wide boy, he's like an industrial saboteur, which is a great character. There are some fucking amazing lines in this.
There's a good bit in that scene where when Mo Rutherford punches that guy, and you just hear it in the background. Some guy going, "Oh my god, he broke his jaw!" And it's blatantly hadn't. It was so dramatic.
Yeah, some great. There's like Dan Hedaya pops up for like one scene as the guy who I forgot what he does, but he's got that dog Ben. And he's just like trying to make. 1 minute he's like cool as you like. He's like, so why are you scared of that dog? And then it just cuts to like another scene. And then it cuts back to him like, I'll buy more. I'll buy more.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I forgot about that. But
they apparently. Oh no, that's a bit later on in the film. Actually, we'll get onto that. Okay, but just a little bit of trivia for you. The kid who plays Jason,
yes,
like the boy,
yes,
his older brother is played by his older brother in real life.
Yeah, they do look similar.
And his older brother's called Brian Bloom, and he wrote the A-Team film that came out in about 2011.
Oh, fuck off.
So
That's
yeah,
weird,
he grew up to do that. So,
what about the young kid? Did he grow up to do anything?
Not really.
Just eat the stuff.
Yeah, just ate the stuff and then had done with it. Yeah. So you know we're kind of like on the trail trying to find some. Chocolate Chip Charlie comes in. His hands are registered as lethal weapons. He's not in the film enough. I don't think.
Know. I quite like the fact he's in it sparingly. Actually, I quite like that. I think I would have got annoyed with him if he'd have been in it loads. But he's quite a welcome relief when he pops back later on. I like that.
Yeah. I like that whole scene in the town where it's just like, what? He's fucking desperate to get him to use the toilet, and he's like, "Don't you want to wash your hands? And, you know, there's some towels in there." Yeah.
There's one bit I've written down here. I can't remember when about it. It must be around this time of the film, but I think it's where that Chocolate Chip Charlie's gone, or they're fighting in like the dark streets in the town with some guys who are after the stuff.
Yeah.
And there's the great effect where he punches him in the face and it just shatters like glass. That's fucking ace. I just loved that. I was like, whoa! And he just hits him in the face and like half his face goes ching and just goes off. Yeah, I love that bit.
There's some nice there's some excellent use of like just hollow faces.
Yeah, that hollow face. And then the sound was obviously like a plate smashing. You know, it's like shit. It was like his hollow face had gone. I love that. It was nice.
Now, I'm going to jump a bit forward through here, but there's a line a bit later on where where Mike and the lady who let's get to a character name here, okay, because I don't want to show this pig. Okay, so Nicole, he's basically the love interest, the female lead. They basically get together, and very fast, by the way.
Yeah,
it's literally a case of, hey, want to go pick a restaurant? Do they do room service?
He was out the Tom Atkins playbook.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
that's great, because I've written there from the Tom Atkins school.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, oh, it is definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of link up quite quickly, which is great. And then so they catch a flight to the to the stuff factory, and one of the opening exchanges is, "I hope you don't mind me bringing my male secretary, Roger."
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
And the double whammy of later on when they're kind of like introducing character, because they're in a plane together, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're in the limo, and then he's like, "Hi," and I put best character name ever here. My name's Mike Grimsby.
Oh, that's like that. Yeah, I was like, "What the Grimsby?" For those of you who don't know, Grimsby is a terrible town in the northeast of England.
Yeah, which is
where we used to sort of come from.
Yeah. And yeah, so Mike Grimsby. I've put Mo Rutherford from the Tom Atkinson School of Sex Pestry, because they're in a bloody thing. And also, I do love how every cutaway in between scene is like an opportunity for exposition. Like it's kind of like a every time there's a scene change, it's like, so this is where they make the stuff, and like this, that, and the other. Okay, classic Cohen. Love the stuff adverts. Love the fact that people who are into the stuff are all called stuffies.
Yeah, that's a good name for them. It's a good name.
And Paul Sorvino. But we'll get to his finest moments in a minute. Have you got anything else to add about like the kind of middle section of the film?
Oh no, you covered fucking loads. It was good. I do wonder how the young kid's got an ensuite in his bedroom. That'd be interesting when he has to take his pot of stuff and does the old switcheroo in his in fact, I've got an old.
Why has he got shaving cream?
Yeah, why? But it's definitely his bathroom because it's got a Motley Crue poster in it.
Yeah,
his old man's not a Motley Crue fan, surely.
I love the way his parents are. Well, we let you live here. And it's like, well, yeah. It's like...
I like how they all get dead angry when he's not eating the stuff. It's like, just eat it. Just eat the stuff. You come back down when you've eaten it. Yeah. Imagine like at home, like someone just going, "It's some ice cream." You're not allowed back down until you fucking eat all that. It's all right. No, I ain't got much more for the middle bit. I was having a whale of a time watching it, mate. I really enjoyed it.
It's a lot of fun, and it bounces along at like a sort of zippy pace.
Yeah.
So when we get to like the point where, so they've gone to the factory, they've kind of been around the factory. They're in a hotel. They get attacked by the stuff in the hotel room.
Yeah. I like how that comes out of the pillow.
That whole room. That's the Nightmare on Elm Street room.
Yeah, no, I heard.
Which is also being used in Breaking 2.
Yeah, but I don't think the Nightmare on Elm Street room, the spinning one, I think it was the Johnny Depp room.
Oh, okay.
The blood's coming out of the bedroom.
Great scene.
Absolutely great scene, yeah.
Yeah, so they get out of that and they're going away. It's very, very much we're in sort of like 1950s B movie territory at this stage, aren't we? We're kind of deeply entrenched. And then they kind of like, it's like, well, we're not going to go to a small town because the stuff probably controls the cops there. Let's go to a big city. So they drive to a castle in the middle of nowhere for some reason.
Yeah, that's where I lost me a little bit of that bit.
But it doesn't matter because Paul Sorvino turns up and he's just like, he's like, those stories you hear about the old Japanese soldiers being lost in the jungle, not knowing the war's
Who
over.
are these guys?
Like, he's clearly some sort of like billionaire because he's got radio stations, he's got all this advertising.
I just imagine he was like just some sort of lost army colonel who won't give up on the war.
But he's got like he owns a radio station and he owns like a few media outlets and stuff like that.
Kind of. Sort of.
So I just thought, is he just like some like rich?
I don't know.
Like eccentric guy who has his own private army.
Oh, that's why I wrote "Ooh, political" for. I said I was going to write it for a film. Yeah. There was I don't know, some joke that someone mentions. He said, "Oh, we've never lost a war on foreign soil."
Yeah.
And someone went, "What about Vietnam,
It's
sir?"
the kid.
And he went, and he went, "Oh, that was we lost that on home territory."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Ooh, political."
Yeah.
I thought, "Ooh, political."
There's some cool lines here because he says something, and he says, "There'll be no more of your liberal remarks."
Yeah.
To the most basic request. And like you said, the way that he keeps hitting on Nicole and stuff like that. And there's one scene where he's just running through his battle scene, and he's holding her hand, just running.
I didn't notice that.
And he always says, "I've always had it hard because I've always been the smartest, bravest,
that's the
strongest, best looking
guy around." And his blatantly looks fucking weird.
Yeah. And then there's a scene where they get like the taxi to everything, and he's like, "Pay the drivers, issue a 10% tip." It's played completely for laughs.
I think he's a very comedic element in it.
Yeah. So we get to the point where they're in the radio station, and Chocolate Chip Charlie turns up again. Unfortunately, he's been taken over.
He's been stuffed.
He's been very good.
Yeah. Thanks. I just came up with that.
He's been stuffed.
Is that when did they go to the mines? Was that before this?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man. There was a classic switcheroo in the mines, which I really enjoyed. Whereas you see it a lot in Indiana Jones films where someone walks behind a lorry
Great,
with
yeah.
a uniform and then
Yeah.
he comes out with the same uniform. The old switcheroo.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
The old, could just come here a second.
Yeah. So Indiana Jones was the special at that.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad it was used in that.
Yeah. So we're going in towards the end of the film, and this is the bit where it's like nips into we're breaking the fourth wall because she's saying, we've got to tell the people, they've got to believe, and then they did believe. It was like a Garth Marenghi episode.
Oh, really? I
that
didn't
bit.
notice that. Yeah.
It's like that. We just gotta hope they believe.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to her going, and they did believe.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, that was it.
It was like, you remember that episode of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place when it was when everybody turned into apes, and it was like it just cut at the very end. It just cut to a load of like really pedestrian images, like a picture of a speaker, a picture of, which is why everybody's now back to normal. And then it cut back to that.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it seemed odd.
And then,
but I guess that goes in the style of like when they started the film, like, here's the stuff. Oh yeah, we're selling it for loads. That was it. It was like there was no gap in time there. Yeah. It was like, I suppose the end is the same, really, isn't it?
We haven't mentioned the rampage in the supermarket. That looks quite fun. It's just the way he kind of starts on that kid who's just eating the stuff. And
I do like that.
Don't eat that!
Don't you eat that fucking stuff! And then when he runs off, he just runs into all the stuff. Like, fuck!
And then there's a great bit where they're stacking it and they see his kid running and they just go, oh shit. It's just... And the very end is kind of like...
Charlie with his. What did you think of the effects with his face is going all fucking?
This is the poster, isn't it? The original poster. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it is. But I don't know if it's his face. It seems like an odd. You've got the old Blu-ray there.
Yeah, it's like that's the original one.
Oh, is that the original one?
And then I've got like.
There's another one. I'm sure there's another one. Probably the cinematic one. But yeah, I quite like the effects of it. It looked pretty cool.
I mean,
they're obviously like fake, but it's like it looks cool.
Because I've said before about like, films reflecting the times and stuff like that. Me and Phil for ages were trying to work out what the allegory is. What's this? Corporate
surely
greed,
it's all about consumerism. Surely,
or crack. Was it like?
I think it's all about greed and consumerism. Surely, if it's going to be have anything to do with the times it was filmed in, and also as you mentioned earlier on with the stuff thing blowing up next to McDonald's, I think that's a sure sign that he was.
So it was literally fast food and how
it's fast food greed, how we're all dominated by that. That's the way I read into it anyway.
So light years ahead of its time.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
A good 20 years or so before Super Size Me came out.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it may not just be about that. I think it's just about. Well, probably, yeah. I mean, at this time, I suppose they were starting to introduce a lot of fast food and ice cream, things like that into the diet. Maybe it was all based around that completely.
Yeah, but
I can see that.
Yeah.
In the way America's, the fat country basically, as everyone thinks of it as. So
yeah,
it's got a point.
That's a good point. I can't get enough of the stuff. What do you think?
Oh, I thought it was a really cool film.
Yeah.
And of all the films that you've brought up for me, there's probably now say 3 that I'm going to buy.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Which is cool, really. Isn't
it?
Yeah. I know we've done loads, but this Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Creeps will be, the ones I'm going to buy. They're really cool films. But this is ace. It's definitely something I'll watch again, and it's definitely be like I'll put this on a fucking rainy afternoon or something. Yeah, it's a cool little film. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Should we move it on?
Move on to a
I've
more.
got no closing thoughts. Really.
Comedy film.
Right. Okay. We've had the light. Let's have the dark. Now,
as a disclaimer, Dave's watched the. All right.
Yeah, I've watched this twice this week. I'm still here. I've not killed myself.
Good to hear, mate.
We're watching the French film Inside. Now, Andy, this is a little scene film. So, do you want to save spoilers and let people kind of discover things, because I think I can do a spoiler-free review.
All right, we can try and do a spoiler-free review if you want. Yeah,
I don't think there's. I mean,
yeah, all right, no, we can.
My personal view
if you want to, like, I mean, the whole ending. If you want to,
my personal view is, if you've seen one of these films before, like for example, I feel like if you've seen High Tension, before, or the Switchblade Romance as it's called over here, I think you will know where this film's going.
No, we can probably do without spoilers, because there is the only spoilers right at the end. I think we can probably do it without that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So,
right. Well, the film I was bringing up is Inside. It's a French film from 2007. And here we
French
go.
Extreme.
Here we go with my pronunciation. So maybe if I just get the directed by Alexandre Bastillo and Julien Marie, I'm going for. There we go. And it stars Beatrice Dalle and Alison Paradis. The directors, in fact, did a film called Livid, which I've also got on DVD, which isn't that great. They did a section in ABC's of Death 2, which everyone has, and a film called Among the Living.
I believe that me and you have done a section.
I think so, yeah. I think we did the fart one. This was part of, as Dave already said, in a way, this is part of the new wave of French horror, which sort of dominated the early noughties period of horror, which included the 2008 film Martyrs, 2003 sort of Switchblade Romance, and 2007's Frontiers, which were really the ones that I found to be the best of them. But it says, 4 months after the death of her husband, a woman on the brink of motherhood is tormented in her home by a strange woman who wants her unborn baby. And really, that's about as much of a plot as you'll get. There isn't much more to it. Now, history with this film, this was part of the new age of French horror. I got into it with Martyrs through I got recommended Martyrs by a Twitter contact, let's say, and Inside sort of followed up. And then I obviously like Switchblade Romance and Frontiers, but out of them all, Inside is my favourite. I think it's the best out of the lot. So hand over to you, Dave. Is this your first watch? Did you? I know you watched it twice, once in French and once in dubbed English or something. So I hope you made the most of that.
Yeah. First viewing. I've not seen it, but my only awareness of this came from obviously when you've put it on the list for the podcast. It's not my wheelhouse, the old the French Extreme, but I'd seen Switchblade Romance / High Tension quite a long time ago, so I know that there was a wave of these films out and about. I have to say, with this, there are elements I really liked. There are elements that I disliked, but it's not, the problems I have with the film aren't plot related. It's very, it's very simple. Very simple home invasion. Tight 79 minutes, which I was grateful for.
Yeah.
Not that I go into a film thinking, oh God, when's it going to end? I think there are certain films where you think there's no need for that to be 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So I'll say this: I liked I liked the level of gore. The gore didn't feel it didn't feel like it was gory for the sake of it. I mean, it's a very, very gory film.
Yeah. And
obviously, if you're a gore hound, great. If you're not, then don't watch this sort of film. Stick to flipping How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or something like that.
Good example of a film with no gore in. Well done.
Well, I mean, when I watch one of your non-violent films.
Yeah.
Stick to Random Hearts. So very, very pleasing level of gore. There is, as someone who, when childbirth's on the agenda, you kind of think, oh, it's going to be a gory experience, you know, so you brace for it and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so again, not to labour the point, I felt like it felt appropriate, for want of a better phrase. I really like Beatrice Dalle.
I think
she's in Betty Blue.
Yes, she is. Yeah,
and there's another French horror film that she's in.
I think she's terrifying in this.
Yeah, very much like, you know, I feel like she perhaps could have been the Woman in Black if they remade it right, or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Very,
I mean,
very
the way
fierce.
she is in it, and to actually do a bit of a disclaimer, this is probably the only film that still scares me to this day. And there's no other film that scares me like this.
Some really good scenes. So let's talk about
my favourite ever scene in this film is my favourite horror scene of all time. Is the pullback from the settee.
Yeah. Oh God. Absolutely.
Still, even though I know it's happening, still to this day, I fucking shit myself every time.
And it's one of those where it's like, shit, that just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and that's why I love this film, because it doesn't rely on jump scares. There's no opening of a fridge going, God, there's someone behind it.
Absolutely, co-sign. Yeah. I completely agree with what you're saying about the level of, like the level of fright. You know, it's not tacked on.
No, it's terror. It's not.
And also, oftentimes, in a horror film or in like an action film or whatever, when the villain, like I don't know if I've said this before. I know I've talked about it before, but I don't know if I've talked about it, you know, on the show. But when you feel like there's a point where the antagonist just goes mental. Like for the sake of it, it's like kind of, they've been found out, and they've spent this whole time being calm as you like, being clinical, making the correct decisions, doing this, that, and the other, and then they make the switch to going mental and reckless.
Yeah,
and it happens all the time. And I feel like with this, our baddie, the lady, she makes what would be the logical decision. I mean, obviously it's an extraordinary situation, but she makes decisions where you think, yeah, I can understand that. You know, there's no point you think, well, she's a fucking superwoman. That's, you know, when, like, for instance, when the cops are around, she manages to like dispatch those. It's like there's an opportunity presents itself, and she manages to stick one, and then the other presents
I think it's
itself.
realistic in that sense of the term.
Yeah.
I don't think it's realistic in terms of
absolutely.
But I mean, I've read a lot of arguments online where it says, there's no way she'd be able to overpower those two policemen. But
I don't know. They were pretty inept.
They were rubbish. But like you said, the opportunities were there in front of her.
It
wasn't like she gambled on something like some random thing and it came off.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not one of those, because there are points in that film where she shows vulnerability. She's scared. There is one scene when she sparks up a cigarette, and it kind of goes into this weird edit thing. And I didn't really think. I thought, why are they doing that? Because they've kind of rooted it in realism. There's no supernatural element in this film. But then there's this one part where it's like, I don't know if it was designed to show her deteriorating state of mind, or if it was just like an effect they wanted to show or something like that. Do you know what I mean? When she sat there, she sat down and she lights a cigarette, and it kind of is on her face, and as she's smoking it, it kind of just does these one or two like weird little cuts, like it'll just cut to, like it goes blue at one point, and then there's like a sort of bit of shaky cam.
Oh no!
And I don't know why they did it. I can only assume it's, like I said, because it's there to kind of like.
I just never noticed it.
I think maybe it's there just to show, she's really struggling with this decision that she's made. But I feel like you reach a point, and she's committed to the idea of, right, I am gonna get this person, whatever. Nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah.
So it's not like a kind of like a thing where she's got this amazing power.
No, not at all.
It's just that, like, for example, like the cop, like, for, potential spoilery bit, but like we won't give away the ending. But so she, it's a knitting needle in it that she gets one copper with, and then the opportunities present itself. She plunges the house into darkness. She's able to get the other people.
Yeah.
It's not a case of overpowering. It's a case of working to the advantages. You know, you're the one who's dictating the scene.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you're the one who can actually do the things that you've set out to do. So let's talk about our protagonist, the
Well, in the first, let's talk about the first 20 minutes of this film, which is sort of 20 minutes before the home invasion, which obviously displays it's a very sort of depressing, miserable life she's got at the moment.
Yeah.
I think she plays it very well as a sort of downbeaten, sort of miserable sort of mother to be, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, I think she's a great character. I think she does it really well.
I mean, so we've got her mum and her boss.
Yeah, it's her boss.
Kind of like
looking
are
out for her,
are in the mix. Now, one thing I will say that I didn't really like was I think that of a film of this size and of this premise, too many characters, I thought.
Oh, no way.
I didn't think there was any need for the convict. Okay, so the kind of guy who'd been arrested.
I know what you mean, yeah.
And also, I mean, I've seen enough films to know that if something major, like a home invasion, multiple murders, this guy who's been arrested for rioting or whatever, it'd be like, sure, lucky night, mate, get the fuck out of here. It'd be one of those. You wouldn't tether him to someone.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I guess whilst I'm on the subject of things that I didn't like, the lighting, there's a point in this film where it goes really dark. I mean, not dark in atmosphere, but dark as in I can't see what the fuck's going on. There's a point where the camera work's shoddy. I can't see anything. The sound, the sort of oral experience as well is not. Some of the actual sound effects, the choices that they've made, like the actual sounds of flesh being pierced, for want of a better term, didn't sound great. There's a point where, for some reason, there's a cheetah sound that's used, and I'm not entirely sure why. And
well, it doesn't spring to mind that bit at all. I mean, I'm hoping it's not just the copy you watched.
No, don't worry about it. It's just these are mild criticisms, mate.
No, I'm hoping it's not. I hope it's not that.
There's
because I'm struggling to think where it goes really dark. I'm trying to think
there's a
where
point.
it is.
The power's cut in the house.
Yeah, I know where the power's cut. I'm thinking that.
And for the last third of the film, it's really hard to see what's going on. You know. No, I don't think it is because I mean, there are doing a bit of reading about this. It is. I'm not alone in this criticism.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. I've never found that an issue. I'll be honest with you. And I think the lighting and the color palette in this film work perfectly. To me, I think it's
the colors. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the level of blood. We've got this opening credit sequence that's just swirling blood. Great. Giving you, this is what you're in for. This is what you've signed up for, which is fine. But yeah, just that bit. Some of the characters, I thought, there's no need. Maybe too many coppers.
Okay.
Would
you rather it just been her and her for the whole film?
I think there could have been the mother. There could have been the boss. There could have been one copper calling round.
I know what you mean. I can see what you mean by that.
But this is, nitpicking, I guess.
Okay.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the plot of this film. The execution. The development at the end. I think to say you need, I think with the ending of this film, you need something earlier in the film that explains it because of what happens at the very start.
Yeah.
And it's very hard not to try and give this away. not to give this away.
It is
but like the motivation is relatively clear. However, I feel like you need an explanation of kind of why. I know what's happened, and I know kind of why she's going after it, but it's kind of like it's not established whose fault the accident is.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah, I know that.
Without, I don't know. Maybe I've said too much, but maybe.
No. I was biting my lip trying not to say anything, to be honest, mate. But I mean, yeah, we can't spoil it.
It needs one 10-second scene of like someone doing something they shouldn't have been.
But I guess it doesn't matter whose fault it is. I don't think it matters. I honestly don't. If they're that in that state of mind that woman is, it's their fault. It's their fault that this has happened to me, and the other people probably think the same thing about them. It's their fault that this has happened to me. I don't think it matters in real life whose fault it is. That's their state of mind that she thinks that that's their fault. This is all your fault that what's happened to me, and that's why I'm coming after you. So I don't think that's a big point to me.
Well,
I think it just shows her mindset more than anything. That
maybe,
and then you can all make your own mind up about what led her to that point. Maybe we are going to spoil this. We are going to spoil this in a way, but what takes her character, like Beatrice Dahl's character, the woman, the home invader in this. What was her life like up to that point of the accident? Had she been trying to get pregnant for 20 years?
I'll tell you what. If you don't want to know what happens, pause now.
Go watch it.
And we will put on our show notes. We will put a point at where you can not pause it. You fast forward it. You can fast forward it to the point where you say it on the notes. Okay.
It is very difficult.
Okay, so basically, the end of this film. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. The end of this film is the lady who is so Beatrice Dahl's character.
Yeah, she's called the woman.
Is the other person in the traffic accident at the start of the film.
Yeah,
and she has lost her baby as a result of this. I mean, what are the odds? 2 pregnant women crashing into each other.
Yeah, that is quite wild odds. I never really thought about
that. so she's lost her kid, and her whole plan is to go and steal the baby that's inside.
Yeah.
I nearly said Vanessa then.
Alison
Paradis. Yeah. Okay, so it's inside her, and she wants to steal that baby for herself, and she succeeds.
Yeah.
And so she does what she sets out to do.
Yeah. What did you think of the? Now we spoil it all. The end. Did you find it tough to watch? Because I struggled with the.
I think that.
I mean, I watch anything. You know what I'm like.
But
I think it's rough. I think fucking hell. The last couple of scenes.
I think if I was tough. Like Johnny on the Street, Stephen J. Tierney. I've never seen a horror film before.
If you were Timmy Pipkin.
Tony Pipkin.
Tony Pipkin, sorry.
If I was a classically trained Shakespearean actor, Tony Pipkin, I probably would have struggled with my motivations.
Yeah. I mean, I would never show this film to my missus, I don't think.
No, I mean, it's hard going. It's very... we did an episode on the old show called Dream Home.
Yeah, we did.
And there's a scene in that where a pregnant woman gets killed. Yeah. Quite tough to watch. And I don't know why, because it's just a person. It's just a fiction and all that. But I don't know. It's hard. It's like watching someone get kicked in the balls. It's like all testicles are telepathically linked and all that. But
I think this film is. Where there's like a lot of films that have an iconic weapon, whereas like Audition has the knitting needles. This has scissors. The fucking scissors in this film, man. They get front and center all the time, and they're tough to watch.
And you know what? It's great the way that it kind of starts out. It starts almost as it ends. Her first thing is to cut she cuts, doesn't she? She doesn't fuck about. It's just like, let's get cutting.
Yeah, it's fucking tough.
You know, and it's
like when they pierced through like the belly button,
yeah,
that bit where she just pushes and just starts cutting. It's
yeah.
like, fuck.
She must have read
She's
a
just
book.
going at it, you know.
She must have read a book. On how to like perform a cesarean.
The fact that she's got half her face burnt off at the same time while she's doing it.
Yeah, that's yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I must admit, you know, I mean, I've said before that I'm quite desensitized to all this. Having experienced
completely desensitized to it all.
Yeah, it's you just think, wow, yeah, they've absolutely. They've gone to town on trying to shock, and
they have,
succeed.
but I don't think it's an all-out shock fest. I think it's better than that.
Well, I'll say this: it's a shock, but it doesn't feel for the sake of it. You know, I don't know. You watch something like Hostel, where it's just let's drill through the kneecap and stuff like that, or I'm trying to think of like something else where it's like
I completely agree with you. I don't think the shock
like zombie flesh eaters with the piece of wood through the eye. You know, it's exploitative. Whereas none of this film feels exploitative,
and that's why I love this film. Like I say, none of its shock value, none of its jump scares for a reason. I think it's genuinely a terrifying film without the need for that, and I think the gore's there for a good reason, and I think it works really well. There's no like torture involved. There's no blatant, like you say, drilling through a kneecap or something like that. I think it's all there viscerally for a reason, and it works.
Single-minded pursuit.
Yeah.
Goal accomplished.
Like I say, it's only 79 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's in and out quick, and the first 20 minutes are until the home invasion starts. That's when it starts, you know. So you've got an hour of.
Is this the end of our spoiler thing? I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you can end the spoiler. Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah, end of spoiler. Yeah.
End of spoiler. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, inside closing remarks, this is one of the, for me, this is one of the better films that you of the sort of extreme end. And I'm like I say, I'm not averse to it. I'm not a prude. I'm not fucking Mary Whitehouse or anything like that.
Yeah.
I kind of, this is the film I've been looking for. It's like, oh right, okay, so there's a point to it. There's an actual, there's a goal in mind.
Well, to me, this is a masterpiece in modern horror.
Yeah. And the great thing is, there's no pointless twist.
No.
Like for me, I know how you feel about Martyrs, but that ending just totally kills it for me.
No, I mean the ending of this wraps things up nicely, obviously. But to me, this is my favourite horror film of the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years, I guess. This is a masterpiece to me. Like you all said about, Dawn of the Dead. Oh, it's a masterpiece, and this is artwork. This to me is modern horror at its absolute fucking finest, and there isn't anything better, I don't think, in the last 10, 15 years. Right. That's how I feel about it. I just don't think there's anything better. I think this is genuinely terrifying. I think this is a very scary film, done very, very well. That's all I would say about it. I think it's fucking fantastic, man.
Lovely. Which brings us nicely on to what you wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah. Well, when I was looking, like, researching this film a bit, I was like, oh, I wonder how other, Googling it, trying to get a bit of research about it, and I realised it had come up on a list on Bloody Disgusting of which is the famous horror website, as I'm sure everyone knows about, of the 20 best horror films of the noughties, which I thought would be interesting because I know Dave's quite adverse to modern horror, so I was sort of interested to see what he thought about the films that they brought up. And I know, I already know what number one is, and we'll both be into that. But I mean, what are your thoughts on modern horror? Because I know, let's be honest, the films you bring up for this podcast are genuinely the older films, the more The Stuff, Night of the Creeps, things like that. They are the older films.
Well, I think what we've established
because I don't think you've ever brought up a modern horror film for this.
No,
I don't think you ever will.
I will, because Kill List is mine, isn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah, fair dues.
And also there are a few others on there. I think I've got Eden Lake, which is way down there as well.
Yeah.
So there's a few. I tend to prefer horror when it's either played for laughs or it feels like there's a bit of creativity in there, which sounds a bit, I don't know. When I say it out loud, I kind of feel like I kind of feel like they seem to try harder back in the day. Less shocks me these days. So I guess.
Yeah, but I think less shocks everyone these days.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, I'm looking at this list as well, so hopefully we've got the same list here. So number 20, Cloverfield. Is that what you've got?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So we're on the same. So 19, American Psycho. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you can't fuck with that, can you? That's.
No.
Would you class it as a horror film?
Well, no. That's heavy satire.
So yeah. See, I wouldn't either. So I was not astounded to see it on here as a horror film, but that also makes me think that.
But then again, one of the greatest.
Are we clutching at straws with modern horror nowadays? That the American Psycho is a modern horror film?
But I don't know. It depends. Yeah, again, it comes down to. I mean, like for example, I don't class Psycho as a horror film. It's a psychological thriller / comedy.
Comedy.
Oh yeah. Well, Hitchcock said it was a comedy. So
but I think when it came out in its day, it must have been classed as a horror. There was nothing else like it.
Well, this is what we were talking about before, because there's a program, there's a fine program on Sky Arts called Hollywood Censored.
Yeah,
and basically about how attitudes towards censorship have changed. And Psycho was a real watershed film, and my soon-to-be wife said about how there doesn't seem to be a film out at the minute that causes such an uproar. You know, like The Psycho, Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. The Omen. There's nothing that seems to come out now, is there? The way you just think, "Oh my god, this is unbelievable! Ban this sick filth."
Yeah, but we
had
this before. Where can you go?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ours was you've got to fuck with people, haven't you? I think, and ours was Ghostwatch.
Ghostwatch with pipes.
Yeah, with Michael Parkinson and Sarah Green.
Oh yeah,
and Craig Charles.
Yeah, obviously Craig.
And Mike
Charles.
Smith, rest in peace.
Yeah, as if he's dead.
You know,
me saying that Inside terrified me. Is there any films that have terrified you and still scare you to this day?
I don't know.
I guess that terrified you in the past when you first watched it.
Yeah, like the Nigel Neal version of The Woman in Black.
Yeah,
is one I always point to because it's genuinely creepy.
Yeah,
it looks a bit twee.
I think creepy is scarier than out and out gore. Definitely.
I think it looks a bit twee nowadays, but it's kind of like there's one genuine jump scare in there, and you just think, "Oh my god, I'd want to watch it just because so I can feel that tingle up my spine."
It's the adrenaline after. That's why everyone loves that.
Threads is a film that terrifies me chiefly because it could happen.
Yeah,
I mean, Threads is a film about a nuclear attack that causes nuclear devastation in Sheffield, where
we are recording from there. You know?
So it's kind of like you think, oh my god. And the thing with Threads is it's relentless.
Yeah,
it was a BBC film. They used to make us watch this in school.
I can't believe that looking back nowadays.
And it's one of the fucking most relentlessly terrifying films ever made. Other than that, The Exorcist, I still think is a technical masterpiece.
See, everyone goes back to The Exorcist and says it's the scariest film. Like,
I don't know if it's the scariest film.
Yeah, but that's what I was asking you about. The films that have terrified you. I don't think Exorcist ever scared me.
I think The Omen used to shit me up when I was a kid. Like Billy Whitelaw's character in that used to kind of terrify me. And again, as a kid, fucking hell, Dracula, the Hammer Dracula.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if a film's outright, shit me up.
Oh, that's cool. See, there's nothing that's really, when I say terrified, I'm not sat there quaking in my boots. It's more that something's affected me.
I think I'll tell you what, man. When I was about 13, I watched Race of the Devil because it was part of the Videodrome series on BBC Two, and that seemed to have a bit of a knock-on effect. I don't know if you've ever seen Race to the Devil,
No.
but it's basically the films that scare me most are the ones that feel most rooted in reality. So the ones that like,
I think
like,
most people
like that one is basically about devil worshippers, and fucking everybody's in it. It's about like two couples who go on holiday, and they basically they stop off for one night, and they're on a site, and then they witness a human sacrifice, and they get caught, and then they get chased, and the rest of the film's a chase movie.
Oh right, yeah.
And basically, it's one of those where when it ends, it's like, oh my god, everyone's in on it. And I remember near where I lived, there was a tree that looked exactly like the tree out of the film. So I used to look out from my window at this tree and think, oh, God. No, just like there's just going to be a fire in a minute.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that,
yeah. So I think that had quite a profound effect on me. Even though I watched it as an adult and thought, this is shit.
About,
yeah. What am I
but
terrified
that's
for?
cool. That's what they should do.
Because I would just... it's one of those where you think, yeah, I won't do that. I won't do that. I think I'll just drive.
But I think that's what sort of goes back to this list, is why I'm asking it, because it's modern horror, you know.
The Thing, I always loved for its animatronics, and that is quite scary as well. Modern horror, there are films that stay with me. I think the Neon Demon, while not being an out and out horror film, has moments, and when you watch that film, you may see why.
Yeah,
but I think it does have an effect.
You Get Out and
you see, I've not seen
Don't
Get
Breathe.
Out.
They're both very good.
Yeah. I mean,
let's have a little look more through this list. See if there's anything else. See, Devil's Backbone. I ain't even watched that.
Yeah, it's great. I own it. I'll lend it to.
Yeah. Because I do like Guillermo del Toro, and I know it's like a partner piece to Pan's Labyrinth, isn't it?
May's good.
See, I haven't watched that.
Yeah.
See, then you got Paranormal Activity, which is an interesting one, because why is it? I mean, at its time, was
worst cinematic experience of my life.
See, that's what I was expecting you to say.
I don't think this is a criticism I can level at the film, though. This is a criticism I have to level at the cinema I watched it.
Was there an experience in the cinema you had a bad experience?
Have you watched Paranormal Activity?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you know that whenever something's about to happen, there's this weird kind of like Pavlovian rumble.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Be quiet now. Some shit's about to go down.
We're going to get shit on. You know? Yeah.
But in between times, people were just chatting.
Yeah, well, nothing really happens, does it?
Oh, fucking hell, that was scary, wasn't it? Like one of them. And it was like,
oh, man.
And I was like, this is horrendous. I wanted to walk.
It was more like a theme park ride.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a film.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me. That was when I first read through his list, like number 16. Fuck off, Paranormal Activity. Although I guess at the time,
it's not going to be Paranormal Activity 2.
But I guess at the time it was kind of groundbreaking. There was nothing else like it.
Yeah, I guess.
Battle Royale.
Is that a horror?
Exactly. I don't think it's a horror.
Is it? Again, biting satire.
Yeah, I think it's satire. I don't think it's a horror. Great film. Audition. Yeah, you can't fuck with Audition. It's a great film.
Audition 1999? No, I don't want to get pedantic.
They're claiming 2000 here.
It's 99.
Well, I mean, I can't remember which one I put it. And Drag Me to Hell, which I think is great.
Yeah, I do love Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, my missus watched about 10 minutes of it with me the other day, and not the other day, and it was a couple months ago. She just went, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Yeah, all right." It's got a timestamp on IMDb. Yeah, you can't fuck with IMDb. They know the shit.
Yeah, I do.
But I love Drag Me to Hell because I like Sam Raimi and I like his effects and all that. And it's the over the top effect.
There's like I'm sure if I remember right, there's a double whammy at the end.
There is, yeah. There's double whammy at the end.
Yeah.
But it's the effects that I like when like the dead body's on there and for no reason it just starts spewing like green shit forever. I just think his effects like that are fantastic.
I don't get
it's
why
totally get like over the top and gag inducing. It's just ridiculous, you know.
I don't know why he doesn't. He almost should make one horror and then one of his fucking non-violent films that he wants to make, and then go back to horror for one.
So then number 12 is Inside, obviously.
Yeah.
Just one of the most audacious, brutal, unrelenting horror films ever made. Inside is perhaps the crown jewel of the new wave of extreme French horror.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then 11, Wreck. Which I'm bringing up.
I love Wreck.
Yeah, I think it's great. But you said you don't like any found footage films.
I said I generally don't like found footage films, even though I've listed 2 that I like.
Which you quite like, yeah.
I saw Wreck at the cinema, and I loved it.
Yeah, Wreck's great. Yeah, I really like that film. It's fucking fantastic. And I haven't watched any of the others, so, Saw, what's your view on Saw? Number 10.
Don't like it.
Oh, man, the first Saw is fucking fantastic.
It's okay.
No, it's fucking brilliant. You're wrong.
It's okay.
You're wrong. Right, Trick or Treat. No idea.
I've seen Trick or Treat. It's probably, if it was made in the 80s, I've got a feeling a lot more people would be talking about it now because it's got 80s sensibilities.
Oh, right, okay.
I think, if memory serves, it's an anthology. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there you go. It kind of got it's got a ready-made iconic character in it with that pumpkin head type. Thing. I don't mind it. So we've got Dawn of the Dead.
So then, number 8, Dawn of the Dead remake, Dave. I mean, what the fuck?
Stick it up your ass, mate.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Take it out your ass. It's all right. Look, number 8. I begrudgingly, well, actually, not at all. Why the fuck it's ahead of Inside? I have no idea.
So we're going. I'll go back to my default comment. It's a competently made film, but ultimately, it's nowhere near the original. It's
I don't
know. I'll fight you all day on this, mate.
Well, you can. I'm not gonna. No one's gonna win, are they? At the end of the day, I don't hold the original that dear to my heart.
Well, ultimately, it's the film goers that lose.
Well, why?
Because they're watching an inferior product.
Well, yeah, to some people,
It's. I don't know.
But I think they write what they said here. There's no way to top the 1978 incarnation, so it makes perfect sense just to go for broke. And he says, and therein lies the beauty of Snyder's film. He wasn't out to best Romero, he just wanted to outrun him, and it worked. I agree with him.
I disagree.
Well, you will, obviously.
Of course I will. For the reasons I outlined in episode 10.
Yeah, go back to episode 10 and listen to us argue
for
about
maximum enjoyment of this argument.
Yeah.
Go back to
episode 10 where Mike was here arguing what better than we can. So 28 days later, I would absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic film. Yeah. And 6, The Ring, a remake which I love and you're not that into.
I just prefer the original. It's that simple. I think that the remake is overlong and overcomplicated, and just generally not as good as the original.
Says here, well, I mean, they rate it as better than the original.
Yeah, well, they can fuck off.
Well, I'm torn between them both. I like them both, but so then we got.
It is a matter of perspective.
Session 9.
Never seen it.
Me neither. Shall we watch it one day?
I've heard of it. I'm sure I've heard of it. Number 4, The Mist. Yeah,
The Mist is great.
Love it.
See, there you
The
go.
Mist has got a lot going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love The Mist. And then The Descent, which we both love.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with that. It's a great film.
Ain't no fucking with that.
And number 2, Shaun of the Dead, which seems a bit of a cop out to me to put that in there.
Yeah,
because it's not, is it?
It's not really horror.
No, I think it's a real cop out to put that in there. But number 1, we both probably agree with.
Yeah, Let the Right One In.
Yeah, Let the Right One In. Absolute masterpiece in modern horror.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get that.
It's not a bad list. My point with sort of bringing out that list was, I get a lot of, fight from you about modern horror. And I think there is a lot, and you said a lot to that. You said, yeah, that's good, yeah. I think, your nostalgia.
I'm not anti-modern horror.
I just know it seems it sometimes, Dave.
I think
it does seem it sometimes.
I think that we have we seem to live in a currently there are a lot of terrible horror films in that, and you only have to have a little flick through Netflix to to realize that. And there is some real shit out there.
It's all Hostel's fault,
and I'm sure there's shit from the past, and there's definitely films that probably don't hold up and all the rest of it. But I think that in modern terms, there's a charm lacking from certain films. However, I totally will. I take the point that there's some brilliant horror films, and all those. And I've said in the past how much I love several films on that list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, modern horror, while not completely rubbish.
The majority of them are not from the UK, though.
Yeah, well,
probably which is just a.
To be fair, there is a lot of there's a lot of shit horror films from this island, and there's like Cockneys versus werewolves, is it? Or strippers versus zombies
is one.
The thing is, they go
trying to be anything apart.
No,
from
they
what
go big with the titles, don't they? Yeah. And it's like that's what's gonna hook you in. It's like it doesn't matter that the most famous actor's someone who was in an episode of Hollyoaks once. But yeah, some really top drawer films on there. Let the Right One In's a spectacular film, and one that rightly is part of the conversation about the best films of.
Well, I mean, it was
this or possibly any other decade.
It was my film of the year for that year when we were doing our films of the year, and I do think that for modern horror, that is the one to beat. But I just think that there is a lot of good modern horror out there, and I just think nowadays there is such a volume of films coming out that I guess maybe back in the 80s or 70s or 80s there wasn't as much volume of horror films coming out. So
I guess so.
Like you say, you turn on Netflix, there's 19 out of 20 of the films I've never even fucking heard of.
Yeah.
Where have they come from? And like we were talking earlier on about the Sharknado Asylum.
Oh, the Asylum, yeah.
And you're getting companies like that just churning films out 2 a month. And what happened there?
I think horror film tends to be the one where you can showcase a bit of imagination, which is great. They're the ones that aspiring filmmakers seem to default to. And the horror community is a great community, and they're generally quite forgiving when it comes to...
Yeah, they are, yeah.
They put up with a lot of shit.
Fucking A, yeah.
And they take it.
There's more bad films than good out there. Horror films, definitely.
Yeah. And, it's... Yeah, they love it. And it'll continue like that. It'll always be like that. You look through the horror channel and you think, fucking hell, these films, I've got no idea that they exist.
No, not at all.
By the way, Ben's film is on Netflix now in the UK.
What, Last Man Standing?
Last Girl Standing.
Last Girl Standing, sorry.
Last Man Standing is a completely different film.
Yeah, it is a completely different film. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and do check it out if you're out there, because and then go back and listen to the interview Dave did with him, because it's it's a decent film. I think if we didn't like it, we would say we didn't like it. I know we both got something out of it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, do go watch that. There's a lot of. It does seem like there's a lot of young sort of directors trying to be doing horror more than anything else nowadays as well.
Yeah, director to watch as well, because his next film sounds very intriguing.
Yeah, he was
saying about how he wanted to basically sounds like Predator, but he said it's in the spirit of Predator, whatever that means. But that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, as long as it's not in the spirit of Predators.
Yeah, or Predator. Well, Predator. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Predators?
Yes, I saw it at the cinema. Embarrassingly enough.
Was it terrible?
I don't remember thinking this is terrible. I just remember thinking it's very, very average.
Yeah.
It didn't really do anything. I mean, The Predator is coming out.
Oh, they're doing another one.
Yeah, directed by Shane Black.
Oh, really?
Written by Fred Decker.
Who's going to be the main predator hunter, or whatever they want to call it?
It's I'm sure someone reasonably famous is in The Predator. I know it's like
The Predator. I love how they've exhausted the film title, so they go back to The Predator.
Yeah, The Predator. I guess it stars no one famous.
No one.
Oh, Thomas Jane, rumoured.
Oh shit! Is it going to be terrible?
Lily Allen's brother's in it.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, but I feel like Fred Dekker, Shane Black. Shane Black was in Predator, and basically was around to do script rewrites and stuff like that. So
yeah,
hoping for big things.
Well, you never know. Yeah. Well, that's about it, really, mate. We're done on this one.
Yeah.
Bit of a shorter one than we usually do, but
That was The Stuff, and inside, The Stuff is not on Netflix at the minute. However, it's out there. Do feel free to rent it or pay good money in a
buy it,
in
you
a video
fucking
show.
tight bastards. That's what I'd say. I hate people that download these movies for free.
Don't dock at the Pirate Bay.
Yeah, that's it.
Inside is...
I'd buy it if I were you, because you're going to struggle to find it anywhere else, as Dave found out.
Yeah,
buy it. It's available on DVD.
Yeah,
and,
it's available.
It's worth getting the DVD to get a decent copy and a subtitle.
It is available at all good world cinema sections and some rubbish ones
It'll
too.
be under the extreme section.
Extreme!
So yeah, and then next episode we are doing...
Tune in for House, 1984, and Frontiers, 2007?
Don't know.
2007. I know this because when I was looking for...
Frontiers. Have you seen Frontiers yet?
No. Frontier, open bracket, S, close brackets.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
There's a reason why.
Well, we will find out.
There isn't in the slightest. You will find out. There is no reason why at all.
Find out in episode
14.
14.
Don't know why you look at your watch for 14. It's not like it tells you on there what our next episode is called.
Episode Tenerife.
Yeah, that's it. Lovely to talk to you all. Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.
It's you, get me right. I like the way you talk, really through my body.